So Ryan and Haley, you guys make $40,000 a month on Skool. And last time we chatted, you guys lived in a truck. Do you still live in a truck?
That is accurate.
Yes.
Why do you guys not get a place? Crazy.
Why do you have a place?
Well, this is the crazy thing because your niche is real estate.
Yeah.
So like you of all
Right.
people know how to buy and sell houses and you have like multiple. How did you decide to start your community on real estate? Tell us about your niche.
I guess solving problems that we ran into ourselves. The statistic that I was told was that the vast majority of millionaires become so through real estate. And was not my first venture into the financial space. I may have tried some other ideas first before getting to real estate, but eventually I was like, oh yeah, real estate makes sense. And I just tried a bunch of stuff and failed. And roundabout way found something that I was good at along the way that actually made money.
So Haley, like you watch Ryan start this community on Skool. You see him win the Skool games. All of a sudden he's got like a crown emoji and you're like, what is that? $30,000 a month? That's crazy. Like, what did you think watching him get into this weird online space?
I feel bad about it because I didn't know what he was doing. Like he had seen an ad, joined Skool, said he was like building this community, and I was in my own world, like doing sales at a corporate job. And he was more into all of this than I was. So I was like, you got it, you can do it. But I didn't know what he was doing. And then he was in this competition and I still didn't know. And then he won. And obviously I was like, congrats, but I still didn't know. So it wasn't until a little bit after, like after he won the Skool games, after I could like see the finished product where it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this is something that he's actually built.
She didn't know what I was doing, but she did see the results. Because
Yeah.
when the thing started, like when I first got on Skool or when I like monetized the community or whatever, I set a goal of replacing my income from my job. I had already quit my job, but it was like $6,000 or something. And then I was like, if we did, $8,000, then we could also afford this. And so like I would like refresh it and like go
like
into
throughout the month.
Yeah, and be like,
Like
look,
of the
it's
competition.
Look, babe, we're
Yeah.
almost
now
there.
it's at 11.
You're like, why do we
okay.
still live in a truck?
So that took you just 1 month to replace your normal
it was
income.
pretty fast.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
let's be fair about
Yeah, of
how
course.
these numbers work, right? So like, yes, we made a lot of money in the first month, but that didn't really do much for us because it wasn't legitimate. Like when you do something that's monthly, the first month to me is not monthly.
We need like
That's
true
just like
proof of concept.
it happened,
Yeah.
which is sick. Like stoked on that. But the next month was like, okay, how much of that's going to stay? Because there's
Right.
always a hype wave, right?
Mhm.
So then we got to like the stabilized number and it was still good. Wasn't as good, but it was good. And that's when when that held for a few months is when things started to like actually progress, because before that it was just kind of like the cleanup of
Mhm.
like, what did we
Yeah,
do?
and that's like a really important thing to call out. It's like anyone can get lots of people to join an online community for 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's keeping them
Yeah.
for the ongoing.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
how you
if
feel.
your value
MRR,
prop
bro,
is
monthly
like,
recurring revenue.
Yeah. if your value prop's good enough, anybody will join to check, right?
Sure.
But it's
Right,
like,
right.
who's going to stay because it was a real value prop?
Right. So Haley, if you like zoom all the way out, it's like, how would you describe your Skool community to my granny?
Mhm.
And then Ryan, if you could jump in, like, how did you guys get your first few members?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would describe it to your granny as teaching other people how to invest in real estate, more specifically teaching other people how to fund deals for other investors. And I feel like when people ask what we can do, I can describe it on a more, I don't want to say dumbed
That's why I asked
down.
you instead of Ryan, because Ryan's like, well,
Because
here's the
he's
thing.
like-
Hey, but I have to teach
Here's the
people all
Oxford
day.
PhD
So.
Right.
version of real estate. It's like, okay.
But like I truly stay in the community, so help out with the community. So if you ask me details about the stuff that we teach, I'm like, you gotta ask Ryan because I don't know the details, but
Right.
I can describe it on a good
I think
level.
and another easy high level is like everybody talks about passive income in real estate, as we've mentioned. And what we teach is a form of active income. So it's like, basically I tell people, hey, go chase that reality that you think is real. And then once you've like satisfied your understanding that it isn't, you can come here and
Mhm.
actually make money. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because we do active income in real estate, but really what I try to push to people is like, you just have to make active income somewhere.
Right.
It doesn't have to be in real estate. If it's in real estate, there's more crossover.
Yeah,
But
and
the
your,
way
your community name is like Fun to Freedom, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and like freedom's super important to you guys. That's why you live in a truck.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into
Yeah.
this later, but like Haley quit her job and now it's like working full time on the Skool business.
Mhm.
But how did you get your first few members?
yeah, to pay, like paid members.
Or like, what did you do? Did you start with free community?
Yeah,
Did you start with
so-
pay community?
Here's the funnel. So started with the free community. And I think this is actually an important note too. I did not start the free community with the intention of monetizing it. Not saying that completely matters, but I think it has some value in it. I started it because I had a bunch of people asking me to teach them what I was doing. Then I got an ad to join Skool. It was free for 14 days or whatever it was. So I was like, cool, let me do this. And then I can take all those people and put them in one place. Because, you know, if you've ever had somebody ask you to teach them something, you can only respond to so many DMs. And then it's like, this cannot scale. So I started the free community and I literally would just post polls. I would get people in there. I got people in there by DMing everybody that had DM'd me and been like, hey, I have an answer. Join this thing. I tried inviting some of my friends as well. They did not join. So that did not work.
Classic.
Good lesson. I mean, we think
Good
our friends
lesson.
will like fully support
Yeah,
the next
no.
venture, and it's like,
No.
no, we're good.
They support it once it works. They're like, oh, sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
now I'll jump in. So I just was DMing people, hey, I've got this thing, or I kind of did lead magnets by just doing free training. So like one of the biggest questions I got asked was, how do you fund things and keep your money safe? So I think I'll have to fact check myself on this, but I think the first training I ever did was like how to fund deals safely. And so I went on, you know, all the DMs and whatever things people and just said, hey, I'm going to do this free thing, you know, whatever. Did not have a social media following. So I think I posted it, but probably didn't do anything. It's like, hey, mom, doing this thing.
Show support.
But brought people in, got enough people in, you know, 50 people or something, held a free call. It was awesome. And then I just said, hey, what else do you guys want to know about? And I just repeated that cycle over and over for like 4 weeks. Kind of got through the main pillars that people wanted to know. People started asking for more. I was like, what else do you want? Well, we want training. We want this, that, whatever. And then the Skool games was happening. And I saw the people the month before and I was like, well, I would like to compete for something because I am sad and sitting in this room by myself. I'd like to have.
All
Yeah,
day.
I mean, Haley
Yeah.
worked all day.
He was
We
at
didn't
the
really
house.
we were like living in a new place. And it's funny, this is like kind of a branch, but you know how when you're younger, you always have like something to compete for,
Sure.
like sports, whatever. And then you just lose it.
Yeah.
It just goes
Yeah.
away.
The game, like the fun in the games, like they
Yeah,
disappear.
But they don't have to. Like there's a lot of games out there to play. So I was like, I'm going to play this game. Starts on May 1st was when I did it. And so I basically had that free group for 6 weeks, just went sheer value. And then I literally, how did I get my first few paid members? I made actually, this is funny. So the first ever paid member that I had joined before I told anybody the group existed. And it wasn't even at the set price. Cheater. They clicked on my profile and saw that I had made a group and it was at like some cheap price because I hadn't set everything up yet and they just joined it. So
Purchase.
shout out to them. But the first few actuals, I literally just posted in the free group and was like, hey, I made this thing that you guys all asked for and it costs money now. And they were like sick and joined.
So like loads of really, really cool things to call out. First is like you actually had expertise in your area. Like you had run this real estate business yourself outside of school, doing the actual thing for a while. Then you started to help other people to do that. They were reaching out to you. And then you used Skool as a place to teach lots of people at scale because you couldn't do the one-on-ones anymore. And then you just asked people in a free community, what do you want? They told you, you did a live call about it. And then a period of time passes and you're like, hey, we now have a paid thing, which is exactly the thing that you want. Click here to join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also you said you were reaching out to people in the DMs, but you didn't have a social media, and this was before you were on Skool. So was that just...
This is really fun.
Yeah, just the Facebook stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
the watering hole strategy.
Yeah, okay.
Trademark Ryan Schrope.
Hey.
Yeah, so I did the watering hole strategy before it was cool. I don't know if it's cool now. But it was basically just being in the places that people like me would be. So free Facebook groups for the most part. Now that's expanded more to free Skool groups, but at the time it was free Facebook groups.
Right.
So I would post what I was doing. And this is very important. I teach this a lot in my community. I would post what I was doing and I would just try to provide value. Again, like actually without any intention of getting anything out of it, but more so I mean, maybe it was partly to try and make myself look good. I don't know what my intention was all the time, but I would close a deal or do whatever, and I would share it with people, and they'd say, how did you do that? And that's where the DMs would come.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Ryan would become the star community member in multiple communities and just like help lots of people. And then people would slide into his DMs and be like, yo, can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And he'd be like, help him. And he'd be like, hey, there's a free call on this thing. It's like, zip.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. And I like that because like I'm not a big social media guy. I'm not a social media guy at all. And I think that there's this big perception out there that you have to have social media. You have to have all these followers if you want to have an online business. And the reality is you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an audience. You need a network. And that's what you had. What's a network? It's just like a collection of relationships that you've invested into. And then you can just go deeper by providing more value to them, like on a free call or in a free community.
Yeah, you have to have a way to distribute. And it's interesting with social media too, because you're right. Everybody thinks you have to have a social media. If you're watching this video, like I still don't have a big social media, and our stuff continues to grow. And an interesting thought from that is everything we do is very much freedom focused. So it's not like, let me make $1 bazillion, although that could be a result, but it's more like, how can I build this and actually enjoy life? And, you know, there's a lot of people that build a big social media following and then they quit or they hate it. And so I actually try to be very intentional about like, how can I build something that's not reliant on me to put on a face or perform?
Longevity.
Because I've seen, you know, we have some close friends that have quit that stuff because it was miserable, and everything has its ups and downs, but it's just interesting to think like there is not just one way.
Right.
It's all going to have its pluses and minuses.
And that's like one of the things I love about you guys is like freedom is so important to you. And so you intentionally go about building your Skool community in a way that you love it. Right?
Yes.
Because like I talk to you guys like, yeah, we're skiing for 2 months, and yeah, I'm surfing every day, and yeah, I'm going this, I'm going that. We live in a truck. We're here in London today. It's like we made it here even though the flights were delayed. It's like, so you guys, because you're right, if you wanted to maximize making as much money as possible, you could work 80 hours a week, hate your life, rip all the cold calls like we saw the guys in London doing in the real estate office that we were joking about, or you could like build it a different way.
Yeah.
So like, how do you guys build your community in a way that, yes, it makes you guys the income that you want to make, but it also gives you the freedom and the lifestyle that you actually care about?
I think Ryan does a really good job of figuring out who can help. Like we were saying, who, not how. Because I'm such the opposite. I like want to manage everything. I want to do everything because I know that I'll do it well and I can rely on myself. But Ryan is the opposite, where obviously he can do it well, but he would rather find someone and spend the time to train and like spend the time on the front end to set us up for better success. So I think obviously a lot of it is Ryan, but the way that he thinks is for the long haul rather than, oh, it'll just be easier now, let me do it, instead of let's take the time and teach this other person and empower this other person, and then we'll be able to take some off of us in the meantime.
I think another thing is you can't maximize for any given outcome until you've tested.
Right.
So if we say we're trying to maximize for a combination of like freedom and also making money, whatever that combo is, what Haley and I have done is try freaking everything. Like if there's a funnel, an idea, anything, we have either tried it or it's on our short list.
And not afraid to scrap it too. Like we try it for a couple of days and we're like,
oh, we've spent weeks on stuff and then scrapped it in a day. Right?
Yeah.
We do that all the time. But that's how we find that balance of building the community is like, we've done the sales calls, we've done the big stuff, we've done the free trials, we've done the low, the high, the everything in between, the monthly, the annual, like we've done all of those things. And then we try our best to look at those results, and like we still are doing this right now. I'm like, why did we stop doing that? Oh, right. This was terrible, whatever. Because at the end of the day, anybody that's watching this that wants to build a community, you have to eventually optimize for something.
Sure.
Like we factually could make way more money if we did X, Y, and Z. But we have tried those things and we are choosing not to do them because we value the freedom more.
Yeah.
We value not being on a time clock where people are expecting us to do something all the time more than we do making a little bit extra money.
So there's like two really interesting paths there. The first is like at the beginning of your Skool journey, which is like, let's be honest, like it's a lot of work. You're like doing very unscalable things. You're trying lots and lots of different models. Let's try a free trial. Oh, I hate the free trial. Let's try this. Oh, I don't like this. And, you're doing a lot of like unscalable things, hopping on calls with your early community members, figuring out what they want. And you guys, like, to make like explicitly clear, like, you guys have done the hard yards. This is not like some sort of crazy like overnight success story. It's like you guys have been doing this. You've done it slowly. You've built it right. And then once you've done that, you can start to think about optimizing for it. But if we stick in that like first bit for a while, I just want to like really, really hammer this. So for someone who's just starting out, like, what is the first bit that they need to work on? Is it getting people into a free community and basically talking to them and hopping on calls to figure out what it is they actually want?
I think it starts with you and the product itself. I think Kirby uses a good framework for people, which is like, have you achieved a valuable outcome or done something of value to share with people, right? So you said for us, I was an expert, whatever. I had done something that people value, right? And so I think that's the first big thing. It's like having something that people value.
Do something noteworthy / interest.
Yeah. And then the best thing, and like we did not do this as well as we could have, but we certainly tried our best. And there's a lot of better examples than us, like Skool, for example, that just spend all of their time figuring out what people need. And then you, as the leader, have to interpret that and turn it into the best thing, because people don't always know what they need, but they know what they want. And so if you can be connecting with your members and talking with those people and figuring that out along the way, you can build a product that just continues to get better, instead of trying to make this, the classic example is like trying to record an entire course based on what you think, because you're just going to re-record the whole thing anyway. So like, here's a good idea. Just do it.
That's actually a great point. Don't start by recording a full classroom. It's like, because what you think people need is never what they need or what they want.
So how do you make those decisions, Ryan, yourself, about when it's time to just cut this isn't working? Is it all on feedback from your community, or is it just
I wish
else?
We don't get enough feedback. We really don't. It's so hard sometimes to get feedback from people, because again, like what we do is I always say so niche that like people don't know what they need. So we more like Haley and I have to kind of, we're mostly on our own for most of those decisions on like, here's what we're seeing. Here's the results we're getting. Is this acceptable to us? Do we feel like this is the level of success that we are capable of creating? And then we just have to adjust based on that. I mean, feedback sometimes, but sometimes people ask for something that's like, I know you think you want that, but like, I promise you don't, So it's a weird mixture.
Right. So I just always like to make that clear. It's like, there are early steps that people need to take at the beginning of their Skool journey, which is very, very different to the middle and very different to like the later, more advanced stages. Now that I've got that out of the way, talk to me about some of your like experiments that quote unquote failed or revealed to you what you didn't like. And so like as a prompt, I'd love to start with like free trial and monthly memberships versus annual.
Yeah. So I talk about this in the real estate sense. People always think about the now versus the later. So the biggest mistake I think people make in real estate is doing something that's going to make them some money now, but might be a headache for the rest of their life, and thinking that it's a good idea and then realizing later that it's not. Same thing for when somebody is building a community, when you're building a community, especially if you're trying to monetize it, but even if you're not, you're just thinking about like, how can I grow this bigger? How can I make people think that I'm better than I am, or whatever it might be? And nobody considers the mental aspect of community building, which is the brutality of like, I have spent months working on products that nobody liked or cared about or like even hated, this thing sucks. I know, like, again, I'll just use Skool. Like there's been things that have come out from Skool where they've been like, oh, we've been working on this for 6 months. Like I won't even call out the things, but there was some
the
stuff.
Audio chat. Let's call it out, bro.
So like the audio chat came out, right?
Will remember.
The audio huddles came out. They're like, we've been working on this forever. And everyone was like, yeah, we low-key hate it. And then they took it away like the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like, that happens too.
Yeah.
But you ask about the free trials and the low ticket stuff. The first thing I'll say is that every single community is different. The reason why all the different models exist is because everything has a place.
Yes.
and
Mhm.
everything
And
can
everything
vary.
Ryan's about to say, you can find 10 counterexamples on
Exactly.
Skool
Yeah.
where they're like, free trials is
This
the greatest thing
works.
ever. This is the
Exactly.
best thing ever. Like,
Exactly.
The current GOAT on Skool doesn't even do annual. He only does monthly.
Yeah.
So we're sharing this story not to be like, this is the way, because there is no way.
Mhm.
Like Skool, you can't do it wrong. Like, it's more like, it
Our
didn't
experience.
feel good for me, or it wasn't right for the
Mhm.
business we want to build, or the lifestyle we want to
Mhm.
build, or the community. So there's your terms and
Yeah.
conditions
Yeah.
caveat. Go ahead.
So I can basically compare them the exact same, free trials and monthly. We pour our entire life into building these systems for people to succeed. And let's say for the free trials, it's 7 days, right? So the human mind thinks that you're going to succeed in 7 days on something that probably should actually take you 7 months.
Mhm.
And so we would put in all this time, and then somebody would get to, the first stage of 50 stages, and then the free trial ends and they're like, I'm out of here.
Mhm.
Right. And so we poured all this upfront time and energy. Same thing on a monthly. They'd be like, I didn't make $10,000 in my first month. It's
Mhm.
like, it took me 3 years to even
Yeah, it
get
needs
anybody to
time.
listen to me.
Right.
Right. And so for our specific model, the timeline, now like with what you do, you can get some quicker results for
Totally.
stuff, right? So everything is different. But yeah, mentally, Haley and I couldn't handle that we were like pouring everything into these people, and they were like, I'm good.
They'd come in, take a look, and then leave.
Right.
And that was just like exhausting mentally and emotionally. I'm like, I
Mm.
got to know this person. Obviously, the free trial is a little quicker, but like for the month they were in, I thought that they would like do well, and then they just leave. I'm like, what's going on here? So it just got exhausting just going
Yeah.
through that. And like Ryan was saying, they need time. Like we have a 90-day roadmap. You can't hit that in 7 days. You can't hit that in a month. Oftentimes people can't even hit that in 90 days.
Sure.
So that's why we did the annual. It's like, stick to that.
And this is an interesting combo too, because I was talking about the mental aspect of all of this stuff and the optimization. We made more money when we did monthly. Fact. We can show you we made more money. But we hated it. So if we were just optimizing for money, we would just go back to
Mhm.
that,
Why did you hate it so much?
because everybody was leaving.
Right.
Everybody would leave and take, and yeah, just because when somebody's new to a business, you're going to onboard them, right? You're going to pour
Mhm.
into these people to try and get them to the point where they can succeed. Frankly, because we care. And so we cared
Sure.
too much, and they didn't care.
And two, we give a lot. We give them a custom website. We give them a CRM. We give them just a lot of tools. And that takes a lot of time on our end to set it up. And so when they leave, it's like, okay, I got to take that down, got to unlock
Right.
that or
Yeah.
relock that. It's just draining.
Yeah. And also from the customer's perspective,
Mhm.
in a way, like, I'm going to roast you for a second, but like, I love you. It's like, in a way, like to sell an opportunity like that monthly is a disservice to the customer.
Yeah.
Because then they have to make like 12
Yep.
choices,
Mhm.
one every single month.
Yes.
Mm.
Is this business opportunity the right one for me? Am I really going to go into real estate? I had a bad month. I didn't really get to do it.
Mhm.
Versus like they make one decision to pay annual,
Mhm.
and now they're like, oh, I have
Yeah.
12 months to make
Mm.
To
this
get it
thing work
right.
and to
Mm.
figure
Yes.
it out. And yes, it's a 90-day program, but I've got kids or I've got 2 jobs or whatever.
Right.
Like maybe it will take me 6 months. And it's like, so it is interesting. It's like, yeah, there are certain things that work better for annual. There's
Mhm.
certain things that work better for monthly. In general, I think we can all agree like annual is awesome for
Mhm.
the customer and the community owner, because the community owner, they get more money up front,
Mhm.
even if you discount it, which most people do.
Yeah.
And in the customer, it's like they get the buy-in to the thing that they themselves say they're passionate about. In the moment, they're like, yes, I really want to commit to pick any niche on
Yeah.
Skool, pickleball or
Mhm.
fitness or becoming a better chess player. It's
Yeah.
like, if you and I we were playing chess on the plane on the way over here. If we paid annual for a chess program, like we would be way more committed to it than if
Yeah.
we were paying monthly and we're like, oh, Ryan beat me too many times this month. I'm churning, bro.
Right. Give them a longer time to find that success rather than they think they're on the clock for a month and they're like, oh, I got to,
Right.
find that success in a month.
And,
What about a year?
annual
We can chill.
also like solves the issue of churn.
Yeah.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
You guys have just had, because you did a big annual push this time last year.
Yes.
I'm waiting to get data from people who have like primarily an annual community.
Mhm.
How many people are renewing for the second year?
I think, it's hard to tell, but I think we're over 50%
Wow.
that are renewing. So That's
And
pretty
honestly,
good.
we don't know if that's good or bad, but
I think
I
it's
mean,
good.
no benchmark. This is uncharted
yeah, I mean, I'd
territory.
love it to
For
be
me, that's
100. I'd
good.
love to be so valuable that nobody ever leaves. That's just not the reality. And
Yeah.
you know, again, this all goes back to just being part of online business. Like you can have the greatest thing in the world, and some people will do something else, change their mind. Life happens.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, stuff happens. But
Well, you just like I since I've got into this whole school world, I like am more aware of the consumer habits that I have.
Yeah.
So it's like when I churn from something, like could literally be anything, like a monthly biltong subscription, which is like a beef jerky sort of thing, right? It's like, oh, dude, why did I churn? It's like I would have like loved that for a full year, but like this month I missed it or something. So and it makes you kind of like see community in a different way. Or I went to check out. There's like this like premium gym in Belfast that like all the fancy pants people go to, and I was like, there's a sauna there. I like want to check it out. And they had a $35 trial for 2 weeks,
Okay.
straight into annual.
Oh,
There
wow.
was no monthly
Hefty.
option. It was like £1,000 or something for the year.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a really interesting model, because
Yeah.
I see everything in like tiers now, or in like
Yep.
school
That's
money
funny.
models. I'm like, wow, they have something to teach us there, where it's like, it's a little bit of a commitment to check it out. You have 2 weeks, and then they had something like, it was like normally like a £200 joining fee. But if you
We'll waive that.
you will waive it if you come through,
on in.
and we'll refund you the £35
Yeah.
for the trial period. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like they've realized that their members get the most fitness results, like have the most community results, because it's kind of like a community thing as well.
Yeah.
Whenever they
More
commit to
bought in.
annual and their admin goes down, and I'm like, wow, there is a little community model at play in the real world. It's
That's
like
funny.
super
Yeah, you see it
interesting.
everywhere once you start getting into this world.
Yeah, literally. I saw a busker the other day.
KFC.
And go on.
I mean, KFC with the upsells. We
Were
were
they hitting
talking
you with
about
those money
this.
models?
they wrecked us.
They asked
Wait,
Ryan.
I thought there was
They
a
said-
subscription to KFC for a
They
moment
said,
there.
they said, would you like more chicken with that? And I said, I've never not wanted more chicken.
Oh my
So
word.
you said yes.
Hilarious.
You said there was a busker.
Yeah, there's a busker in Santa Monica the other day, and
Okay.
they were like, I was a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
you, man. And there's like, tip $5, like feel good. Tip $10, you're a legend. Tip $25, make the drummer's day. And we looked at each other like, tears.
Yeah.
This busker has
All based on
tears.
feeling.
All based on feeling.
funny.
Like, what's the value transaction there? It's like how you feel and how they
Yeah.
feel. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, super interesting.
It
So
works.
as you guys have like progressed, like you have a free community, the paid community, like what have you learned from your trial and error experiments of how to run a good community? Like, yeah. And Haley, so you quit your job.
Yeah.
What's your role now in this Skool Enterprises?
Community management, advertising, sales, finance, all the above.
boring
Everything.
She's our CFO, CEO, or CEO, community manager, CMO. I have it all on a chart. It's just me and her.
Right.
So I gave us all the, I put us
Epic.
You
all
did
in
the
the
full- I love it.
titles.
Yeah.
So the community management, like what does that actually mean?
So it's changed throughout the course of time. I've been working with him for now a year and a half.
Woo.
And originally it was heavily in the paid group, making sure that all of our members got the answers to their questions, could find resources, just like making sure that they were happy, satisfied, and achieving their goals. Now it's kind of turned on our free group, and I'm in there making sure those members get the answers to those questions, and try to, upsell them along the
Of
way,
course,
if
yeah.
you will.
KFC style?
KFC style. Yes. So yeah, it's just changed, and whatever. And I guess if I see a gap, I'll just fill it.
Right.
Essentially.
So how do you get people into your free community right now?
We're doing ads to a challenge.
Ads to a challenge.
So we run ads to a free challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. We try to make it as short as possible. Still, most people don't finish the 5 days.
Drop off after day one.
Yeah, but
Of course.
yeah,
We're
just
working on
adds
it.
to a 5-day challenge right now. We're really just
And the
trying
5-day
to,
challenge is inside the free community.
Yes.
just
Okay.
trying to give them that transformation.
And then how do you ascend people from the free challenge into the paid? And how much does your paid cost right now?
Yeah, I'll just do calls,
Yep.
like webinar style calls.
Yep.
Also on
And-
day 5, there's a call to action.
Yeah, there's a call to action on day 5 that they can take a look at it and join if they're interested, or they can come to my next call. And on the call, I basically take everything from the free
Mhm.
and say, okay, here's the gaps that you're going to identify. Here's what you're going to run into. There's 2 ways that you can solve them. Here's everything you need to go try and solve them yourself. Or I've spent the last few years solving it for people. you're welcome to join.
So this is a group call.
Okay. Yeah, like a webinar.
And you
style
host that
You do it regularly
on
every
the Skool
every month.
calendar.
Yeah,
Monthly
yeah.
now, but
Yeah, we
it's
honestly
varied.
changed the cadence. Hey, this
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
a
Sure.
perfectly nailed down business.
It was weekly,
Right.
monthly, never.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're in Ireland
Yeah.
and London. It's not
Yeah.
happening, guys.
Yeah,
We did
so,
one
like-
last week in Galway.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did
cool.
one in a B&B in Galway from the Dresser last week.
Oh, is that
so,
the dresser call?
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you
cool,
want
cool.
to run a business from anywhere, but I mean, you asked about where we host them. So when we first started on Skool, we paid for Zapier.
Yeah.
We paid for a high ticket Zoom account. It's like multiple hundreds a month for what we were paying for Zoom. We paid for an email service. We paid for, I don't even know what else. We paid for so many different stinking monthly payments. And now with Skool, all of that is covered.
Wow.
So we host the calls on Skool. They have webinars that are hosted on there. When you finish the call, you just press a button and it posts the replay. Life-altering, time-saving here.
changer.
Yeah.
I canceled my Zoom account. So basically, Skool was $99 a month, right? Now it's down to $9 a month. And I canceled a $270 a month, I think, subscription that got replaced by that. So yeah, we save a few $1,000, host them all on Skool, keep it super simple. Try and keep things in one place. Like that's actually what we're working on right now is just how can we get as many things into one place as possible to
Right.
keep it simple
Yeah.
for people. It's $2,500 for the year was what you mentioned. The average amount of money people make on their first deal is more than that.
Mhm.
So kind of the value prop there is like
Right.
get one deal in an entire year, which is below average. Then you should be good.
Cool. So you used to run ads to the free challenge inside the free community. Haley's in there, building relationships,
dealing.
commenting, responding to questions, pumping people up.
Or chicken.
yeah.
Eat
Yeah,
more
would you like
chicken.
fries? And then Ryan comes on and does like a call whenever he does the call. And then that's like what will sell people up.
Yeah.
There's also at the end of the challenge, there's like a call to action where people can check it out for themselves.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is like we don't really sell in
Sure.
a sense. We just try to say like, hey, we've been through this path. Like here's the next steps. And the cool thing for us is that people always are like, well, can't you just get information for free? And I will say, yeah, 100%. Like go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's all on there. What we sell is the software behind the business. So we sell everything actually for cheaper than it would cost if you did it individually because we have a community.
Mm.
The classic enterprise thing, right? So like we can pay $1,000 a month for something that would cost you $200 a month, but we can give it to 300 people.
Right.
And so it limits it down that way. But yeah, and for those calls, it's really like our cadence right now is I'm trying to only do calls when I identify something specific that I think I can share with people that'll be valuable. So that I'm not just doing the same thing over and over. Because again, I've done that and it's
Draining.
boring as crap. And if nobody gets
Draining.
excited, I don't know how many live calls you guys have hosted, but if people don't get excited, you never want to host a call again.
The
Right.
chat is just
Sheer
silent.
misery. But when people are stoked, you like throw one in the chat and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, I could do this forever from this dresser in
That's
Belfast.
actually, I had no like intention to talk about this, which is perfect. I joined one of your live calls one time and you guys played music
Oh, yeah.
at the
yeah.
start of it.
Gotta
Tell
hype-
me, like,
hype the people
I
up.
got so pumped by that.
Gotta gas people up at the beginning.
Yeah, so like
you gotta get
technically,
them in a
how do
mood
you
to
do
be
that? Because I
stoked.
like didn't even think to be able to do that before.
I think he just goes on. You
Like,
mean like
like how do
Spotify?
I literally
Yeah,
play
like,
music?
literally,
Spotify.
how can people play music on their
I
live
just
calls?
click on Spotify and share the sound on the tab thingy, and I think it's just like it warms people up to me being there. You know,
So just like a
nice.
cold start, you
So
know.
it's
Yeah.
not the school cat then.
It's not the Skool cat. No, that's none of that music particularly appeals to me. I like to choose my music more, but yeah, just try to provide value. And that's the cool thing about Skool is that there's a lot of other places where people are just going to focus on the money.
Mm.
But on Skool, it is very much based on how can we truly provide value to these people and create community. And yes, you can make money as a result of that. Like, welcome to the world. Everybody makes money. But unless you are one of those crappy course seller people that's just in it for the money, you make money based on the proportionate to the value you provide.
Mhm.
And so if you can provide enough value to enough people over time, money will be the lagging indicator of that. So yeah.
Cool. Any other things that you guys have picked up from running a free community, running a paid community? Any other live call tips? I'm just looking for like trial and error stuff that you have now figured
Yeah.
out that works that we can shortcut the people listening.
I mean, we, like we said earlier, we tried it all. We did ads to a masterclass inside of the free community. We did ads to a webinar, not even in the community, which was the most draining. Yeah, that's where the chat was dead. They were cold. So yeah, ads to the masterclass, ads to a webinar, ads to the free community, retargeting ads to the paid community. I mean, a lot of what we do is ads now because we're trying to target.
Which, by the way,
people.
when we started, or when Haley started her first week, she was like, "So what do I do?" And I was like, "I don't know. Find something." And she's like, "Okay, I'm going to learn ads." So we just learned ads.
And that was after he won the game. So he was doing his
late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game.
How did you learn ads?
I joined another Skool community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Who, not how?
Exactly.
That's so weird. And I'm like, there's only one person I know who can run ads really well. It's like Evelyn.
Yeah.
Send help.
Help us.
Another big thing I think I could share that we have learned and are working on from our trial and error for anybody that's looking to start a Skool community is give people a clear outcome and a clear timeline to do so.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. I'm basically spending
Quantify it.
all of my days right now working on exactly that. I've got a lot of stuff that I've built into the community to try and guide people along the way. But how the heck do you know that you're succeeding? That's it. And it can be a free group. It can be a paid group. But the second they join, what are the action items that they can take to get them to where they want to go? And usually it is a minuscule amount of the things that you're giving them. You're giving them, most people give you enough to get to Mount Everest, when really it's like you're just trying to get the gear. You're just trying to get started, right? And so that's one of the biggest, if you teach chess, it's how can you go from here to 1,000 ranked? If it's real estate, it's how do you go from here to your first deal? Not how do you get 10 deals, not how do you hit 10K a month, not how do you make your first hire. Nobody gives a crap about that because it doesn't matter until you get your first deal. Nothing else matters. And if you can put those blinders on with real estate, with screen time, with fitness, whatever it is, then you can snowball from there.
Right.
We all had a blast talking with Rob.
I was just thinking, I was like, the layers method is here.
So have you integrated the layers method into your classroom? Is there
he's redoing the classroom right now.
I would like to think that I came up with the phases first.
Layers method, by the way, Robert Venter, we did a podcast with him. You can see it in the back catalog. He's like doing 40K a month, teaching people Spanish. He does a free trial into a $29 a month community.
Legend.
So there's just proof that every model works. Yeah. But he has this amazing way of every single bit of his classroom is by the time you finish layer 1, you'll be able to have a 5-minute conversation in Spanish. By the time you finish layer 2, you'll be able to have a 10-minute conversation in Spanish. So it's so clear exactly what you're getting every single step of the way.
Yeah. We've got some interesting things that we've had that I guess I kind of just came up with along the way, and we've used them for a while now. We call them phases, but it's the same idea as all right, if the outcome is getting your first deal, okay, the first thing you need to do is set up whatever equipment you need to get that deal. Because if you get the deal and you don't have the equipment, then what are you doing, right? Then the next step is, okay, you have to know what you're talking about, right? If you want to go sell somebody something, you got to know what the thing is. So then our next phase is you can't leave this phase until you prove that you know what the thing is. If you can't prove you know what the thing is, you're going to go get leads and customers and blow it and then come to me and be like, well, this doesn't work. And it's no, you didn't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So then we cover that phase. We have them kind of test through that, prove that they've accomplished that. Then we get to lead generation. Now there's a bunch of different ways you can generate leads. So I try to narrow it down to just do this lead generation method until you hit X threshold. And then we just keep advancing from there. So.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's how it works.
Let's hit him with some relationship stuff.
Yeah.
It's time.
On.
I'm ready. I feel it in my bones. I'm
so
Luke is ready.
Jones.
So when I've been dying to ask, when you won the Skool games, what did you think?
Again, I didn't really know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I did I even go into the community? I don't even know.
No, she joined the community in August because you can't hide it because it says it on there.
This was when the Skool games was every month.
Yes.
Right.
So I knew he was working hard toward a goal. I didn't really know how awesome it was, how quick he did it compared to other people that are doing this and the magnitude of it and the people that he would then be able to surround himself with because of it. So in the moment, I was just cheering him on just as a supportive wife, I guess, but not knowing like exactly what was going on.
But I'll add more context to give props to Haley. So the way that we did it that worked really well for us, maybe not for everybody, was that when I wanted to leave my job, I didn't really have any income yet in real estate.
Side income, yeah.
Any side income. And I had a real engineering job. I spent a long time trying to get this job. But then I was like, there's more to life. So I was like, all right, I want to quit.
It's freedom.
Yeah.
I want to quit. And then like right as I was like, all right, I'm ready to quit. What I do, which is transactional funding in real estate, I closed my first few deals. So I made a little bit of money. Got my proof of concept. And I was like, okay, Haley, I have this proof of concept. I think I can like figure this out. And I didn't really love my job anyway. So the agreement was that Haley would keep her job to make money
Right.
in case mine did not
Steady
survive. So
Eddie.
we're
Haley's holding
like the
fine.
cheapest human beings you've
Bacon is
ever met.
there,
Yeah.
so
So yeah, we live very cheaply, too cheaply probably. And so we were like, we can just, if we
everyone
keep living.
is gasping after finding out you still live in a truck. They're like, wow, these guys are
What?
free.
Yeah, I
So
guess
There's no
surprised.
freaking way.
I guess it doesn't come as a surprise that we're cheap. So yeah, it was basically like, all right, I've had this income from real estate, but who the heck knows? I was saying this at the very beginning. Who the heck knows if it's going to happen again next month and the month after that?
Yep.
So what Haley was doing, even though she wasn't paying a ton of attention to what I was doing, because she was holding down the fort. So
yeah.
she was crushing her job so that I could either make money or lose money and we wouldn't die. And yes, I lost money along the way.
And this is a good metaphor. Like, we're about to release the Sam episode like tomorrow, but this will be like months in advance. So, you know,
Yeah.
like the
You
Sam,
guys can check it out.
yeah, in the Sam Owens interview, like one of the things that he talked about was like, you know, like don't quit your day job. Like a lot of people put themselves under
Such
financial
Yeah.
a mistake.
stress. Build
Such a mistake.
slowly, build it up. Like
Mhm.
don't take the massive leap. And it's like Haley was doing that for you. And you also had got like proof like, oh, I can make money from this.
Yeah.
You just weren't certain, can I do this again and
Forever.
again and again with
Yeah.
the real estate stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then that switching that proof of concept was when he joined Skool, and then we started to make that monthly recurring on Skool. And then I was like, oh, there's the proof of concept. Now I can quit.
Yeah.
But that was months in too. Because I won the school games in May. Then there was June would have been the second month where we're like, okay, is this going to maintain? Okay, it maintained a little bit. And then she quit her
Honestly,
job.
I think I quit end of June.
Your last day was the second week
So
of
it
July.
wasn't that long.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
Because
he-
but the recurring was June 1st.
Yeah.
So we got the recurring and I was like,
Boom.
okay, yeah, they're going to come
Let's
back.
go.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And so were you thinking, I'm going to start my own community, or was it
No.
always,
Mm-mm.
it was always
It
just
was, it was just like perfect timing because we were moving across the country from Florida to Arizona. I was going to join the Arizona office from the Florida office.
For your
I
corporate
was-
job?
Yes.
Mhm.
So like we were moving, his community was growing, he was needing more help. I was in that transition period from Florida to Arizona in my office where I didn't really belong to a team and I also wasn't really liking it as much. So it was just like, if he needs
Perfect.
help and
Well, I
if
needed
that's
help.
working,
I needed help,
yeah,
too.
he needed help. So I'm like, this is perfect.
He's
So it
like, I
just
could either
worked.
hire help or I could have her do it for free.
And she takes
And
half.
she rocks it.
Money
It's only
mama.
50% rev share.
Right. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just perfect timing. And no, it was never the intention to create. It was to support.
So this has kind of been your passion
Yeah,
from
for
the
sure.
beginning.
Haley
And
doesn't
that-
care about real estate.
So
It's
yeah.
true,
So how
it's
does that?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is that
Well,
kind of?
I mean, he's the person that, wants to find his own way. I'm the person that's like, give me a list and I'll check it off, like visionary doer type thing. So he was always the one going on YouTube, listening to podcasts, learning about all of this other stuff. And I'm like, great. Like, that's great. It's not my passion, but I'm here for it. So yeah, he started it and I'm benefiting.
And we just split the ventures. So like, yeah, the real estate side of things is my passion, the thing that I do. But like, she also manages all of our rental properties.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
doesn't
like,
do that.
this isn't really a part of the school discussion per se, but like she runs all of our houses. She runs I have no clue what's going on. So like we split stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
What are
Mhm.
you passionate about?
That's such a good question. I don't know. I'm passionate about helping.
Yeah.
Like I just like want to be there to help.
Right.
If you need something, I will get it done.
Yeah.
But I've never been the type to like have I don't want to say my own vision,
Sure,
but
sure,
I'm
sure.
more of a supporting role.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have a vision, if you want an event done, I'll call and I'll organize and I'll get everything done. You don't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
And I think that's just like where I love to be.
She's very people first. Like
Yeah.
Haley's
for
passion is
sure.
like, somebody has a birthday party, we want it to be the best birthday party ever. Somebody is coming over, I want to make sure that they get their favorite meal and they get, that kind of stuff. So she's just translated that on Skool to like, somebody's in here, I want to help them get where they need to go.
Mhm.
Yeah,
type thing.
and
So
like,
it's just another
one of the best
iteration.
traits for a community owner and a community manager is like hospitality.
Mhm.
It's like, do people feel welcome when they come
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah.
Is there attention to detail?
That's
do
what it
people feel
is.
cared for? It's like,
Yeah.
do people feel loved? Do they feel like they belong? It's like
Mhm.
the party analogy that we always use on Skool. It's
Yeah.
like, does everyone have a beer in their hand?
Yeah.
Is
Are they having a
everything
good
going okay? It's like, have you
time?
kicked the troublemakers out? Like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like this visionary implementer
Mhm.
duo is like a tale as old as time. But
Yeah,
you see
for
this
sure.
just everywhere. You see it with Apple, you see it with Google, you
Mhm.
see it with Skool. It's like Sam, visionary, can dream up all
Mhm.
sorts of crazy things. He was just looking for like a co-founder who could build it.
Yeah.
And then Daniel, who's the co-founder of Skool, I think this is on the record of like Daniel's telling Sam's like, I can build you anything that
Whatever
you
you
dream.
want.
I just need to find someone who's a big enough vision.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's like,
Yeah.
because I think actually in the culture, especially like in the online world, if you're not a visionary, you're kind of looked down on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Everybody like wants to claim their one just
Totally.
to look cool. And
Yes.
it's like,
It's like, that's not
cares?
what I'm not passionate about having a vision. I don't
Right.
need to like have that, whole thing.
And thank
I just want to
God,
help.
if the whole world
Yeah, you
was
would-
filled with
everything would
visionaries,
suck.
it would be
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah.
Nothing would work. Yeah.
Crazy.
So then how did the truck come about?
Oh my gosh.
The moving into the truck.
Not intentional.
Right.
we've got a very strange past. So
Oh boy.
we've been married for 5 years, almost exactly.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think it's your anniversary too, right?
It is.
Is it today?
Yeah, today. 24 years ago.
24 years.
Yeah, it just absolutely wrecks me saying we've been married for
Got
5.
19 years
We're
on
coming
us.
up to our 10th year.
Ayo.
Guys. Let's go.
So we've been married for 5 years. When we got married, it was during COVID. Both of our families are very outdoorsy. I'll try to make this the high level overview. Both of our families are very outdoorsy, very accepting. Do whatever you want to do. We'll support it. So when we got married, the classic would be like get jobs and
Buy a house.
place.
Buy a house, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if I built a van and we just lived in that and had no job?
It was also COVID. I
It
think
was-
that's
it
a
was
key
during COVID.
fact.
Okay,
It was
Quite a
kind
few
of-
people did that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was
Now
kind of
they
the
might.
end of COVID.
But you guys are.
Yeah.
You're like, what
Yeah.
if we buy houses but we don't live in them?
Yeah.
Well, this was way pre real estate though. So this was
Yeah.
like I
We just
had a friend that
graduated.
built a van and I was like, I'm just gonna build a van. We're gonna move into it and
Travel.
have no jobs and just like drive around
Mm.
and figure something out. So we did that for
a year.
a year and then we traveled a little bit more.
Worked like seasonal jobs.
Then we got real jobs, and that was when this whole I got my real job, quit it, real estate thing started going well, whatever. She quit her job. And then basically, she mentioned this earlier, caveat. So we moved to Phoenix because I had a bunch of real estate friends there. And then we were like, oh,
We
don't-
moved to Phoenix in July,
in July,
which
which we knew it was going to be hot. So if anybody's like, you have to go back in the winter, we've been in the winter. Okay, we get it. But we went in the summer and it was terrible. And we were like, actually, we're not moving here. This sucks. And she had her job, which is what was going to keep us there. But then she quit.
Right.
So when she left her job, being the planner that I was, we had just bought a pickup truck. And I bought a pickup truck that had a bed big enough to sleep in.
for
just
weekend
in case.
trips. No, for weekend
For weekend
trips.
trips. For weekend trips. Because we were going to be out west. So I was like, I'll buy something that we can sleep in. Then we
Right.
can go do weekend trips.
Mm.
So for anybody that's like, did you just go from house to truck? No, actually, we've spent more time in our marriage living in a vehicle than a house. That's a fact.
Dude, so gnarly fact.
Wild fact.
But we moved into the truck because we were looking for a cooler place. Phoenix was so
Yeah,
hot.
so
and we're
Phoenix
like,
was hot.
let's just put all of our stuff in the basement. Let's go to the mountains.
Yeah.
And then that lasted like
So
Right.
basically
Yeah.
I bought a bed, we chucked it in the back, put all of our stuff in the basement of one of our properties in Phoenix, and then just drove somewhere with no plan and really liked it. And then the thing about the truck, when people are like, why do you live in a truck? It was the flexibility. So at the
Mm.
time it was like we didn't need to be anywhere, which is pretty cool. we also had the opportunity to go places. So
Mhm.
like the first place we went in the truck was Vegas for a Skool event.
Right.
Next place we went was Big Bear, California, because it looked cooler. And we were
actually
looking for cool weather.
we pulled up an app that showed temperatures
Yeah, it had
on the
heat
map,
maps.
and we saw
Right.
that there was blue in the middle of red.
Yeah,
so
and
we're
we
like,
had
"Let's
never
go to
been
that
there. I
cold
literally said,
spot."
Haley, there's this one blue spot, whatever
We
this
were
is,
just
let's
so
go there.
hot.
That's
Like,
literally
I
why we
need
went.
to go.
Then we went to LA. We went to San Diego. We go skiing a couple months a year. We go to Florida. So the reason we live in the truck is because, or like right now we're in London. We've been in Ireland. We don't pay any rent because we don't have a house.
Right.
So it just gives us extreme flexibility to
Yeah.
do that stuff.
And what I love about you guys as like a little like living metaphor is that it also speaks to just like the nature of the business
Mhm.
model of like
Yeah, yeah,
running
yeah.
a school community.
Mhm.
It's like you guys are working in Starbucks, you're working in Panera
Mhm,
Breads,
Yeah.
mhm.
you're like trucking here, you're trucking there, you're on a plane, you're going to Vegas, you're in Ireland. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not tied down to a desk. You don't need to
Mhm.
get a big, massive office space.
Yep.
You know, shout out to Nathan. We're here today in London in the podcast studio. It's like, we don't own any of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's amazing. Like you can just like run a business that
Yeah.
you love from anywhere in the world. And you don't have to do all those crazy things.
Yeah.
Right.
You can be like, you know, a mom and dad that are just like deeply rooted in an area. And it's like you can whip your laptop out whenever the kids are sleeping.
Yeah.
You can take long trips with the family and still make it work. It's like, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
And a really interesting thing about the timing of the truck too is that I am very passionate about lifestyle creep stuff with people. So like once you start making money, if you live in a truck, you can't have things. So we basically
Minimalism
can't
on steroids.
Yeah.
spend the money. Well, it's the simplicity aspect of like when the month that we started making money on Skool, we moved into the truck. So we've never really had the opportunity to like acquire things.
Oh, guys,
Besides the Ninja Creamy.
please start a $9 like school community on the hobby plan just called Truck Life.
It would
could.
probably do very
And
well.
please
It
just
would,
share everything you know about
All
trucks
the
because
tips and
I would love to
tricks.
spend like 2 hours like going deep into like the truck stuff.
We have
Yeah.
so many
It would be
hacks.
super
We've clearly
interesting,
developed
so-
those skills. But also, we'll say for anybody, grass is always greener on the other side.
course.
There's
Right.
tons of stuff we miss out on.
course
In a
there
house, we will probably move back into once in.
Love
Yeah.
it.
What has been the most surprising thing that you've learned about each other while you've been doing this journey, both in a
Mm.
truck and also running a school community?
I didn't realize this sounds kind of silly, but I didn't realize how much focus he needed. So I remember at the beginning, especially we were like working in Starbucks. We weren't in different rooms. And this was like the first time working together. So I'd be at Starbucks and I like am a people watcher. So I like watch different people, their dogs come in. I'm like, Ryan, look at them. And he's like headphones in, locked in. He's like, what? I'm like, oh, I got to stop doing this. Like,
Babe, you've just
Yeah.
sent me back 40 minutes of deep work,
You
man.
just
Do not
lost
read the
us
studies of cognitive
$100,000.
function.
and actually, I like that you said that because I didn't really know what deep work was because I was sales. So
Right.
Right.
my
Ain't
only
nothing deep
job,
about that.
You're on a manager schedule rather
yes,
than a maker
yes,
schedule.
yeah.
Right,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
I need a cold call to set meetings,
Right.
and I'll be on a meeting, and if I'm not, I can chat.
Mm.
But I didn't realize like the uninterruption that you need. So I've learned that, and now we just slack to each other.
That's a great
We don't
system.
talk. We just slack.
Sitting next to each other, you'll slap
Oh,
to
yeah.
each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like right across the table.
Right.
Because I need to get this point out of my brain now.
Right.
But I can't interrupt him. So I'm like, I'll send it and he'll see it
Perfect.
when
Love
he
it.
needs to see it.
How long did that take to work out? Was that kind of a instant
4 minutes.
realization?
It's a little
No.
happening now.
kinda had it, yeah.
No, because I
actually-
think I had to explain it, and
He
also because there's
did.
moving. Like there has been seasons of the work that we've done.
Yeah.
But like now, I'm pretty rooted in a season of like, please do not talk to me for a
Well,
long time.
I remember you had to send me a video that
I sent her an Alex Ramosi video.
did explaining deep work versus manager work because Layla's manager, she's meeting with everybody. Alex is deep. And then I was like, oh,
I said, see,
get
it's not
it."
just me. This is a thing.
But I needed it to be
Yeah,
explained
wow.
because I had never worked in that capacity
For
before.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
again,
think-
sorry, as like a school community owner, it's like most people start off by themselves. Everyone starts off by themselves
Yeah.
pretty much. It's like you almost need to like split yourself in that way, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm going to build out a program or I'm going to build out a classroom. It's
Mhm.
like deep focus. And then it's like, no, now in the second half of the day, I'm in the community.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like hopping on calls to people. I'm doing this, I'm doing
Chat.
that, I'm doing this. Like
Mhm.
you kind of need both parts. Don't you?
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Any surprises?
Tons. I think
Like, oh gosh.
no, all good. Haley's like one of the lowest maintenance or simple people ever. Again, is this a shock that we live in a truck?
And I'm low maintenance.
Yeah. But that coupled with like her ability to support anything,
Right.
which is very easily backed up by what we said about like she didn't even know what I was doing and it didn't really matter. She is very like, shockingly, I change my mind on things pretty often.
Classic
so-
visionary.
Classic.
And so-
Classic.
I'm like, oh,
We're going
don't,
here
that.
now.
don't your lists just get destroyed by these
Yeah.
guys?
Forget
So-
all that. We're going
So
here.
she can help me keep that stuff in check, but also if I'm like, no, this is the direction we're going, then she'll immediately just shift into like, okay, so what are the things that we need to do to make that happen?
Cool.
And let me go check them off. And getting that stuff done very supportively. And then obviously I try to return the favor as well, but because we have different skill sets, we're kind of able to play off that stuff.
It's great.
Mhm.
Love it. I think just kind of final. If you could go back in time to the start of your school journey, Ryan, and then the start of your school journey, Haley,
Mhm.
like what's like one bit of advice you would give to someone who's just starting off?
You want to go first?
Yeah, just start. It's the biggest thing. You and I talked about this earlier. People always want to get the shortcut and like get the information from the YouTube video. And, you know, the classic YouTube headline is like, I'll save you 13 years of learning in 14 minutes. And it's just not how it works. I can tell you something 100 times, but until you experience it for yourself, you'll never truly understand how it works. And so people say, I don't have enough time. That's garbage. You'll never have enough time. I don't know what to talk about. Neither does anybody else. In fact, when we started our community originally, it was called Financial Foundations because I enjoyed talking about finance stuff. I'm into frugal and saving money and whatever. So what we named it Financial Foundations. Then that's when all the DMs started coming. I had this group that I hadn't even done anything with. And then people were like, talk about real estate. So my whole, actually funny enough, when I monetized my community, it was still under that moniker. It didn't have anything to do with real estate. It was called Financial Mastery.
Hmm.
Didn't have anything to do with financial stuff. People were like, what? I didn't know this was real estate. I was like, oh, mess that up. So yeah, if I was to tell anybody going back, I would not do anything differently. Not because I didn't royally mess up a trillion different things, but because if you just do something and don't stop, that's going to be the biggest thing. And you can look back, like the people, it's not a cohort, but like the people that joined Skool and started building communities when I did, I kind of know who they are. And I can tell you the ones that are successful are just the ones that are still around.
Right.
A lot of them are gone now.
Yeah.
So if you can stick with it, if you can figure it out, you know, we've had things fall apart many times. We've had people quit on us. We've had to run calls from weird places. I've taken a bunch of calls from the desert.
A Burger King.
Yeah.
Oh, anything
Your
but Burger
enemy.
King. Let's just
Lowest
all
of
agree
the low.
Burger King is the bottom tier of
Bottom
fast
It is.
food.
It is.
This
We've
is
all agreed.
officially
But when
going
it's
into the
got some
record.
Wi-Fi and air conditioning and we need to run a call,
Yeah.
we will do it.
The other thing that I would love to share is like your conditions will never be perfect. And
Right.
although we have dictated our conditions sucking by living in the truck, like the best calls I've ever done have been in the back corner of McDonald's. The best decisions I've ever made have been like because I couldn't sleep because it was too hot and we were sleeping in a vehicle with no AC. Like there's weird stuff like that. But my point is like it's just nobody is really ever going to be in my situation of living in a truck. That's weird. But you can compare it to whatever yours is.
Sure.
Like,
Sure,
yeah,
yeah.
your kids have baseball practice. Welcome to the world. Yeah, you have a W-2 job. Guess what? When I built the business, so did I. And I had to wake up really early. And yeah, it sucked. But if you have something that you believe in, then you can do that stuff regardless. So
Love it.
That was great.
Yeah, that was clear. I might clip that. It's like if we had an Instagram page, it's like that's
Yeah,
where it would have
that's
gone.
what we would post.
it's all true.
It's all true.
I'd say don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to like take a back seat and go into the like student mode and mentality. Think,
I see you posting in schoolers.
yeah, like,
Questions.
Yeah.
hello,
I see you.
I need help.
Yeah.
But I think especially like in this world, you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look like you don't know something. And so you can easily just say, oh, yeah, I know that. And just like be completely oblivious. So like humbling yourself and saying, I need help, or can you explain that? Or what is that? What is that acronym? There are so many acronyms.
Oh my goodness, yeah. MRR totally know what that is,
CAC,
bro.
ROAS.
I know, what was that?
Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, just like humbling yourself, asking questions, taking notes, being a student under someone that knows more. Yeah.
I've got one more.
He's got one more nugget.
You're gonna have to stop me because I could rip on stuff for forever. If you start a Skool community and you're like, but what do I do? How do I organize the classroom? Whatever. Entrepreneurs are convinced that entrepreneurship equals coming up with a new thing. It doesn't. Entrepreneurship is foundationally built on copying what other people are doing first. And when I built our free community, how the heck do you think I figured out what to do? I joined the biggest community on Skool. I looked at their classroom and their tabs, and I literally copied them to a T. And then I iterated that stuff later.
Right.
Just copy what other people are doing.
Bro.
It doesn't have to be word for word, but if you copy it, guess how much I had to think? You don't have to think about copying. You literally just read it. You get two screens, you read one, and you put it on the other. And then people are like, oh, this is weird. You should change to this. And then you can iterate afterwards. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's enough mental capacity to even just take the leap.
Right.
So once you take the leap, just copy somebody,
Sure.
make it your thing, and then you can go from
Yeah, and
That's
the
good.
easiest way to do that is just to join a bunch of communities that you respect or you care
Yeah.
about or you're interested in. You might even want to do what Ryan does and become the star community member of that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what you can learn.
come compete.
Yeah.
Love it. Guys, I can't believe that we did this podcast in
I
London.
can't believe we all made it.
Yeah,
to
like
London.
despite the fact that we literally see each other in LA constantly, it's
yeah.
like, no, we'll do this one in London.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate your
Great.
time. It was super fun.